Mr. Carver is the next in the name of EFDD. You have 2 minutes.
President, in the EU's blinkered desire for harmonisation and ever closer union, you ignore the diverse international interests and sometimes very different priorities that each of the 28 member states have. What about the serious question of further economic and diplomatic burdens that have been placed on some member states, not least because of the EU expansion eastwards? And one response by Russia has been the conclusion of a food for long range bombers deal with Argentina, thus forcing the British government to review her defence requirements in the South Atlantic. This is just one obvious example, merely from a British perspective, of international interests which conflict the increasingly overt expansion of EU neo-imperialism. This will only be exacerbated by a common foreign and security policy and a common security and defence policy. What does this short-sighted approach to the EU expansion and your desire to foster the notion, as we have just heard, of a perceived superpower mean for the traditional neutrality of Ireland and Austria, particularly given the self-amending nature of the Lisbon Treaty? I grew up in the 1980s, and your undiplomatic approach to this most sensitive of subjects reminds me of a song by a British band from Coventry, in the region which I represent. That band was called the Fun Boy Free, formerly known as the Specials. But there is nothing fun or special about this place whatsoever. And the name of that song, The Lunatics Have Taken Over the Asylum. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Carver, you have a blue card. Mr. Carver, you have a blue card. Do you accept it? Okay. Madam BRESSO, you have the floor.
Thank you, President. Collega, lei...
Well, colleague, you genuinely believe that whichever of our countries, even the smaller ones, with and you've got larger ones with hundreds of thousands of population, yours is the larger one. Do you really think that each and every one can provide for the full defence of their citizens going forward? Obviously, Europe must not be aggressive, but it has to have a defence policy and a foreign policy, I believe. And I believe that, you know, you're just telling us stories.
Mr. Carver?
Quite frankly, the beauty of Europe, to my mind, is its diversity. It is the fact that we have 28 individual member states. And the concept of trying to make us all the same, this harmonisation, this pasteurisation, to make us into this new, as we have heard, superpower called Europe, is a bad thing. And it is my contention, I use the example of Ireland and of Austria, it is my contention, it is up to member states' sovereign parliaments to have the ability to decide what defence policy best suits them. Thank you.